Hi all and welcome to a new video. Today we will start a new series in which I want to walk you through designing and coding a web application, a full stack web application, only using iPad and Raspberry Pi. There are multiple reasons why I want to start this series. First of all, being that it's super fun and I'm really excited to start it. Second of all, because in many videos before I spoke about how easy it is to set up a coding environment using iPad Pro, because it's something that I'm really passionate about. And I thought that now, since we learn how to set up completely iPad with Raspberry Pi or any other way of coding in the cloud, it's time for us to put that to test and create fully a web application only using our iPad Pro. In my case, I will use Raspberry Pi. You can use Gitpod.io or any other solution. I prefer Raspberry Pi because I don't need an internet connection in order to use it. In this first episode, I want us to discuss the planning and the architecture of our project. I will also walk you through a bit the design process. So I chose to use Figma and FigJam, which is a project of Figma. I use Figma to design and for the UX part of our application, and FigJam to plan. I want it to be a simple application, and it's something that I will use in the future, and maybe I hope you will use in the future as well, and that is a photo album. My plan is to store my photos on an external hard drive, and then I want to be able to access them in a nicely designed web application. Probably I will store this application on my Raspberry Pi that I'll connect it to my router so that I can access it from everywhere. So it will be more or less a local application only for myself and for my girlfriend. And I hope you can use it as well just the same. Now let's talk about the requirements of this application. FigJam, as I said, is a very cool solution from Figma in which we can plan our project. Not only that you can design diagrams as you see here on the screen, but you can also use the pencil. It has very good support for the pencil. So now let's think about what do we want to achieve from this application. Well, number one, I would like to be able to upload pictures, right? Number two, I would like to be able to create albums and put those photos in those albums. I also would like to view my photos, and for that I will show you we will have multiple ways of viewing our photos. And four, I would like to add notes or comments to my photos and to albums as well. So these are some basic requirements. Now let's see how did I think about architecting this application. First, I thought that the best is to create two entities in my database, and that would be the folder entity and the photo entity. For now, it's the minimum required so that we have a minimum viable product. As you can see, in the folder entity we have the ID, the name of the folder, the parent, because maybe we'll have nested folders, the creation date, and some notes. For the photo entity, I have an ID, a folder ID, which is the folder to which this photo belongs to, and it's many to many because maybe I want to have the same photo in multiple folders. Creation date, I also want to see which camera did I use to take that photo, the file size, the resolution, and some notes as well. Moving down, I created a flow. So my photo album will be the home page. I will have the possibility to show all albums or create an album. For each album, I show all the photos in this album, and I'll have a few viewing options like a list, tiles, or I call it magazine, which is a more interesting way of viewing those pictures. And of course, I'm able to open a photo, and when I open the photo, it will be a carousel. You can press next to see next photos or back to see previous photos. Also, I'll have the opportunity to upload photos in an album, to add a note to the photo, and of course on the creation of the album we can upload photos or create notes. So this is how the minimum viable product would look like. Let's have a check and see how the design will look like. Now for the design, I used Figma as I said, and I want you to know that the design and also the architecture creation part, they were all done using iPad on Figma. So as you see here, we will have the home page. In the home page we are able to add a folder and to view other folders. In the folder creation here, we are able to see the pictures, and I didn't put here picture because I thought it's redundant. list mode, tiles mode, and also shuffle or magazine mode, as I said, which I will show you next. And also we'll be able to upload photos. I forgot to put that part in the design. We will figure it out when we start the coding. Now, this is how I see the magazine part. So we will have a big photo here. I don't know if we will choose it or I will create it randomly. It's up to us and we will decide about that later. After that, we will have the description of the album, and those will be the notes that you add to the album itself. Then we will have some tiles, and in case you added notes to a photos, you can see the photo with the notes just like this. So I'll minimize it a bit so you can see it all, how it would look like. It would look something like that, which I think is really nice way of viewing the photos. But if you prefer other ways, of course, you can see it in more practical ways, like in a list or tiles mode right here. Now let's talk about future features that you can develop on your own once we're done here, and one of them is, let's put here number 5, is search. So a new feature that you can develop is searching for a photo, either by name or by some notes or tags. We can implement in the future tags, so we can put here another way is tagging. And also, if you really want to take it far, we can use some AI for the creation of the magazine view that chooses which photos will be in which dimension, left, right, with notes or without notes, all this cool stuff. So now that we have a clear idea about what we want to achieve in terms of design, in terms of feature, in terms of functionality, let's talk a bit about which technologies we would use. For the technologies part, I thought about using Node.js, but of course, just like Node.js, we can choose anything. And for the front end, I will choose Vue.js. For the CSS part, I'm gonna use Tailwind CSS, and I think that's it. Now we have the requirements clear, the design clear. For the database part, I'm gonna use PostgreSQL, and in the database I'm gonna store those two entities. And I think for the photo, I'm gonna create another field here, which I will call path, which will give me the path to the actual file on the hard drive. I think we have all the base set up very clear. Now in the next episode, we will start the coding part, which is the fun part. I really hope that you found this video informative and you enjoyed this episode about planning and designing from our new coding a full stack web app using Node.js and Vue.js on iPad Pro and Raspberry Pi 4 series. If you did, or if you have any suggestions, please take a moment to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, as it helps with the YouTube algorithm so that more people can benefit from this course. Also, I would like to thank you all that subscribe to my channel. That helps tremendously. And if you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell button to receive notifications when the next episode of the series will be released. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.